wondering what that was. Even their lights are triangular here. Very chunky, exciting angles. I like your office, ma'am. I truly do. Let's see if we can borrow a little of her time. Good grief. Borrow a little of her time without her chewing our ass off or mounting our head on the wall.
I was an ordinary valley girl. Major in human resources, daddy in real estate who paved our driveways with his gold cards and shitty cologne. Rest in peace. Until one night in the hills, a couple of guys who were up to no good fucked with the wrong girl. Frat boy necromancers. Ugh, the worst. Especially when they man up from sacrificing neighborhood pets to abducting undergrads. But they didn't check me for mace or duct tape, and the next thing you know, it's all, "You can't do this to us, bitch, we're Illuminati." Now, I got to thinking, A, if you're a member of a secret society, you should keep that to yourself. Even under torture. I mean, seriously, cry me a river. And B, only my friends call me bitch. Well, anyway, to cut a long, aggravated assault short, I realized Illuminati help me help you.
Oops. Clearly needed to revise their employee handbook.
Well, anyway, to cut a long, aggravated assault short, I realized Illuminati clearly needed to work on their employee handbook. I had just graduated, just killed a few guys. I was looking for work placement. It was totally serendipitous.
Oh, she is an interesting character. Okay, tell me about the personnel. Did you revise the handbook?
I mostly deal with the new talent, but the Labyrinth is our organization's brain trust. We bring in key opinion formers from across the board. Government agencies, the Senate, law firms, financial markets, mass media. What you're going to find is that individually, they're compromised by being drama queens, or cokeheads, or psychos. But try to appreciate the big picture. They're all part of a vast decision matrix, which you will only be involved in on the trickle-down level. I know that sounds like a submissive sex act, but don't take it personally. We're necessarily big on separation of responsibility. Otherwise, we just lose too much velocity on recriminations. See, back in the day, Illuminati were throwing each other under carriages, slipping rat poison in the absinthe 24/7. Infighting was really cutting into the bottom line. So we had to realign to a corporate model. Now there are due processes and risk management in place, a second-party group to handle terminations. We've turned vendetta into healthy internal competition. Healthy for the winners. The New York tunnels have been around longer than the city. When the Illuminati moved here, we hustled an architect over from Germany to do the sacred geometry of this place. It drove him crazy. He killed himself when the blueprints were finished, but you know how seriously creatives take everything. The design really was future-proof. This is all still the original spaces.
I know what you've been up to.
We've centralized a lot, except the server farm keeps expanding. It's like a map painting from a 70s sci-fi movie. You can get lost in there. The rest of the maze you should be lucky enough to never see. The old detainment block and medical facility, that's questions and answers now. It's mostly soundproofed. Mostly. And some of the old board members keep suites way out in the wings. They're not big on FaceTime. They have extreme health issues, extreme privacy issues, extreme issues. Do us both a favor and stay in the main concourse. I understand you tested positive for magic powers. I'm not so into that stuff. I'm more of a .44 caliber girl. Just ask my ex-husband. Unless they're cleaning out his respirator tubes. But good for you. You're really going to be drinking from the weirdness fire hose.
Except items listed in the personnel.
There's no acclimatization period. You used that up already. In all the time before our recruiter cold called. The world is a super messed up place. And you knew it when you were a kid. Or totally alone, or when you actually thought about it. So you didn't think about it. I'm not even laying an ice burn on you. Check me out. I grew up on the alien planet of California, and I didn't think about the Nevada Triangle, or that cult of Kali and Redondo Beach, the West Coast surfers of the apocalypse, and so on. It was easier that way. And in a very real sense, this is the message Illuminati have been sending to the masses. We think so they don't have to. We take enlightenment for the team. You had better not be having second thoughts. I am so not the rah-rah girl. Or if you want an Illuminati history lesson, then you need to understand history is adjustable. It blurs big time. When we tell people what to think today, what actually happened back then is no big whoop. All that matters is the future we're building. You're going to see that the Earth is up for inheritance, and the meek are, well, shit out of luck. Only Illuminati have the capital, the network, and the drive for sweet success to really close the deal on this millennium.
I love that line. We took enlightenment for the team.
If you can keep up with the bleeding edge of a future-focused organization, we can use you in our new world order. If it turns out you can't, then there's room in history's grave for one more fossil. And no one will remember you. Yeah, that would suck. So work for us, and let us work for you. Because we're the conspiracy that's bringing sexy back. Have you seen the other guys' uniforms? Some Illuminati become emotionally compromised just hearing the name. I'm beyond it now. We're perfect and haters will hate, but I should make it very clear that the Templars started this. Red and blue, we never hit it off. Way before America, that was just sticking a fork in it and twisting. We're about power behind the throne. They want a double throne. We couldn't give a rat's ass what people do, as long as it's what they're told. They're control freaks. The saddest thing is, they haven't changed. If Templars got their way, which they did for a really long and boring stretch of history, we'd still be out tilling the soil. Good, honest work, kept safe from this season's evil by the guys with the biggest swords. I've got nothing against judge, jury, and executioner. I loved RoboCop, it's so funny. But these goons with their fascist style guides and hard-on for Empire have dated so badly. This isn't a rivalry, it's euthanasia. It's our time. Ugh, talk about a non-starter. I don't want you reading any sign of weakness into me saying we've given up on the dragon, but we have basically given up on the dragon. They're the one that got away from the think tank. Anarchy is an analyst's nightmare. These guys are completely non-localized, completely independent. The top-down view is an aftermatch report from a game of Twister. One hand doesn't have any knowledge of the other. One's a rogue salaryman in Japan, the other's a hacker in Iceland or something. If we ever lucked out and busted a whole dragon cell, we got nothing. Not a single value proposition our interrogators could usefully apply. It was putting them in therapy. The interrogators. Totally wasted process. At the end of the day, we had to cut our losses. Admit that sometimes a society of crazy town anarchists is just a society of crazy town anarchists. We're still writing off investments to them every year. It's like a ninja tax. So, when you get the opportunity, inflict some buyback. The Phoenicians are pirates. I know. When I was first briefed, I was all, what, like Napster? But they're a lot less .com. As an operation, they haven't changed much in 3,000 years, which goes to show what a growth industry theft and murder really represents. And they work hard to keep themselves at the top of that sector. We've outsourced operations to them before, but don't assume that makes us partners. It's a mercenary thing, a contractual thing. Phoenicians don't take sides, only Swiss bank transfers. There's a big diplomatic gray area around them, since no one can be seen openly associating with Phoenician agents, even though they're sitting right there on the Council of Venice, comparing tattoos and prison scars. Currently, there's nothing on the table between us, so I really want to encourage negative trust in any encounters. I guarantee you'll meet them soon enough. They have a gift for sniffing out trouble spots. I'll observe and report, and then shanking at the first sign of weakness. Come to think of it, they'd make great paparazzi.
I'm really interested in meeting the Phoenicians. I don't remember whether I have or not during any of the Templar stuff. And finally down to the Council of Venice.
If there's one good thing about democratic bodies, it's that they can be rigged. But that's the one good thing. We're responsible adults. We don't need big grandfather checking up on us. In writing. I mean, actual letters with wax seals. I'm serious. It's like being door-knocked by Renaissance fair. Venice, the Venusians, whatever, they're a power trip with no power. The peace they think they maintain is a joke. It always has been, and they're the last to get it. Even the Templars hate them. And when the dudes in capes and armor say you're out of touch, you know, ouch. The reality is that the modern world keeps shrinking, and none of the societies are big on sharing. We pay lip service to Venice laws because you shouldn't make fun of the elderly. Also, they just eat up FUD tactics, and then all of a sudden there's an inquisition or a war in Asia. Any government you can bend is a useful government, but usefulness wears out.
All right, and that's Ms Geary. You're a very, very interesting woman, Kirsten. And I am quite looking forward to hearing some of your replies to whenever we finish some of our missions. All right, let's see. Training Day Tier 4. We have talked to Kirsten Geary. Your first mission is to assess the damage on Solomon Island, New England, an Illuminati haven which appears to have fallen off the map. To get there quickly, you can use Agartha, the storied passages of the hollowed earth. So I will be there in just a second. Let me get this phone call. Okay, we've returned from our phone call here. Let us go on down. We are going to see if we can... yes, I know, they're sprinting.
You didn't get the
See if
memo?
you didn't get the memo? See if we can find the tunnels. Somehow I think this may be it right here. Those must be some of the other doorways that go deeper into the labyrinth, which I am sure we'll probably find out we don't have clearance for. Boy, you talk about your sacred architecture. I can understand why the blueprints drove him sane. And why he committed suicide afterwards. Now we're back into Half-Life territory again, aren't we? Alright, this is New York topside, huh? Okay. The Templars, they are, it goes into a... Okay, so we've discovered the warehouse. At the Templars, it goes into a subway. I was kind of thinking we might have a subway here as well that would do it. Let's see. Is there anything other than find the entrance? Nope, just find the entrance. Let's see what our little piece of thing was here. Knickerbocker, which is Explore New York. We found the laundromat, the sewers, the warehouse. We've still got to get the park and the Brooklyn Fight Club to finish up that. I'm going to just take a quick look around, make sure there's no more other little pieces of lore laying anywhere. Like that one right there, tucked away in corners or something. Bet it's another piece of the buzzing. Ah, Illuminati. Q Curtain, the New World. A misstep in the dance, a sprang, the Illuminati limp west. On the new continent, away from their enemies, the children of Eye and Pyramid weave a new backdrop infrastructure so lightly that none of the other factions have been able to gain a foothold there since. Q Psychic Currency Exchange. Q the Viral Pyramid. The $1 bill is always watching. If that doesn't get into the conspiracy theories, you won't find one, will ya? Alright, let's just keep looking around. There's another piece of lore. Said it always pays to... Are you a citizen or...
Excuse me?
Warehouse worker. Secret society siblings snatch kings, generals, and great thinkers like coveted toys. The dolls break in the tug of war. The Illuminati grabs guilds and banks. The Templars clutch the military. Vicious games of tag ensue. Sometimes one flees, sometimes the other, that familiar dance. The Illuminati skip east, fostering high culture in Byzantine. In Asia, they meet the dragon. Tag, you're it. They skip back west. Now 3 great factions dance. These secret societies, these migratory birds flying from one kingdom to the next according to geological seasons. Always there's the prize, the lands of milk and honey, the most powerful nations.
Pretty sure that girl had, like, actual wings.
Alright, any other pieces? Don't see any. Just a bunch of warehouse workers. Well, I got the feeling that just about all those windows there are probably blacked out. Don't see any more pieces of lore up this way. Let's see where we come out at. Alright, we come out right here on the side. Weren't you just inside talking to that guy? I swear that looks just like you. Alright, that would be the park that we have to find, probably right up there. Let's continue looking for Agartha. Another piece of lore. And a shop over there as well. Alright. The buzzing. You've seen fragments of our grammar in the chaos patterns of bird flocks in flight, in hexagon angles, in the graffiti bleeding together on the wall, in the bioluminescent eyes under your bed, in the fanged city skyline that forms a runic rhyme when glimpsed upside down. A blur becomes syntax, a foreboding scrawl emerges. And here is where we find the Agartha conduit down there, I would imagine. Yeah, can we get over there to that other piece? Yes, we can. Dear Sweetling, did you pay attention to that gruesome puppet show as a child? We hope so. The Illuminati is Mr. Punch, and hidden in that nonsense play is their plot. They have a big stick and conspire to bludgeon all competing puppets, and then the devil himself. And if you get in their way, you will be another broken Judy splayed on the floor. Cue the shrill voice from the outer dark. That's the way to do it. Cue the curtain. Okay, so it looks like the conduit, the gateway, is actually down here below us. We will travel on down. There we go. Do you want to travel to Agartha? Yes.
Hello? Yes? Now this is the Hollow Earth, Agartha. I do hope you're not here for the local service. It's running somewhat tardy. By my watch, it's 100 years overdue at 1/4 the hour. Judging from the cut of you, you're more of a world traveller. Well, you've come to the right place. Now, this underground realm, like the Great British Rail System, is the very model of efficiency. Agartha's thoroughfares sprout from the Tree of Life and connect back to the surface. Distance and time bend in here. Why, you can cross the globe in a brisk walk. Now, of course, it's perfectly safe. No one's entirely sure how it works. Quite bedeviled, the science boffins, but I'm assured they have their top men on it. Top men Now you'll need one of these. Mind your fingers. Thank you. Fascinating devices. Fortunately, there's still enough to hand out like sweets. Consider it your anchor to the hollow earth. It can return you here in a flash, proverbially and quite literally. Well then, onwards to the New England coast, what?
Fascinating fella. I love the station master. No, I don't want to join your cobble. Where am I at? Oh! There I am. I was trying, thought I was that guy down there. I was trying to move him around. Let's talk to the station master right quick and see what he has to say. Tell me about yourself.
I suppose one day my services will no longer be required to man the platforms. Modernisation encroaches on us all. Ticket machines indeed. Good for addition, I don't doubt. Always with the correct change. Yet somewhat lacking in the human touch. Like my thunderous mechanical companions here. Oh, I doff my cap to them though. For how many centuries they patrolled these stations alone, who can say? I pride myself on punctuality and dedication, but they are the original article. What faces they must have seen. Many gentlemen explorers, ladies too, have stepped before you into Agartha's honeyed halls. That pleasant Norwegian chap, for one. Amundsen. Yes, you're in fine company indeed. I vouch a ticket machine wouldn't tell you that.
Great touch there. I think Amundsen is the, I think he's the character in Jules, is it Jules Verne, Journey to the Center of the Earth? I think that's it. And of course, what do you find at the center of the Earth but the hollow halls of Agartha? I'm pausing it here to say I am, of course, wrong. The one that I'm thinking of was an Icelandic gentleman named Arne Saknussemm, who was the character in the Jules Verne novel, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Not a Norwegian, but an Icelandic man. The Norwegian they're talking about, Amundsen, was, of course, the first man to make it to both poles. This whole thing brings up those wheels within wheels and levels within levels that you run into in this game, being that you have to wonder, number one, is he being a little sarcastic here, or is he casting a little shade on Amundsen, being that he is a British gentleman here, of course, the station master, and the South Pole, Amundsen beat Scott to the South Pole. But then you hear him say earlier, you can use Agartha here to take yourself to anywhere in the globe in just a few steps. So is he maybe casting a little shade, saying that this is how Amundsen beat Scott to the pole? But then on the other side, you had the fact that the Secret World is made by Funcom, which is a Norwegian company, which would be, of course, bringing up Amundsen as the great explorer, being that they would be taking pride in him being a Norwegian. Plus, you have the fact that he went to both poles, and the people, if you ever look up the hollow Earth theories and all that, they believe that the entrances to the interior of the Earth, the hollow Earth, were at the poles. So like I said, this game has just got, as Mindfiend will tell you, levels upon levels upon levels. It's as to quote the donkey in Shrek, it's like an onion.
You'll get used to the balmy temperature. It's for the bees. They prefer it. Their honey is remarkable, though the aftertaste, a little like machine oil. Her Majesty once commented favourably on Agartha to me. A work of quite miraculous craftsmanship. I believe to tour it was one of her few joys after Albert passed. Well, try not to approach all this as something unnatural. It may not follow the, accepted theories of the Earth's consistency. I assure you, though, it is very much a part of our world. Over the years, these halls have expanded and contracted with the growth of the tree. Like breathing, I expect. Fresh branches find their way to the surface, to many different surfaces. The older growth, further down, leads to other places in other times. Stacked like those Russian dolls that were all the rage in Paris. Why, I encountered myself as a young man once. Curious thing. Topside speaking, I admit to falling a touch behind the times. Out of date. Well, you understand, though, a massive flora-mechanical network won't run itself. One always finds something needing doing down here. I'm certainly more of a groundsman than an engineer. And were we vanished from the world, perish the thought, Agartha would still perpetuate. A golden age without tarnish. I say without tarnish, but in confidence, troubling events are afoot. Tremors like a distant thunder. Outpourings of an horrific black water. I believe it gathers far beneath us in great reservoirs. And yet I haven't the nerve to put that theorem to the test. Well, listen to me go on about the rot in the tree of life. You have so many pressing cloak and dagger affairs to see to up there in the world of man. I shouldn't think there's anything to worry about. Not yet.
All right, fascinating. I'd never sat and talked to the station master before.
Cheerio.
So he's been around since at least Queen Victoria. Interesting. I've got a feeling that time runs very differently here. We're not going to go talk to the custodians right now. You know, we're now in Agartha, which is the hub. And pretty much anywhere and everyone eventually comes here eventually. Let us get that piece of lore. Because all roads lead to Kingsmouth. Watch this piece of the buzzing. You've heard shards of our voice in the phantom radio code of a number station, in the roar of a crowd, in the screams of your clock, in the scrape of a chalkboard, in the snow static of a TV, in the chainsaw decibel mating of cicadas, in the urban mythos that spreads among children like contagion, in the silence between lies. White noise becomes a cadence, words develop self-awareness, viral, evolving, living poetry, sentient language. Let us go over here and hit the little speed taxi. That'll throw us to Kingsmouth. There we go. One more piece of lore before we actually enter. We see you. There is no turning back. Who are we? It depends on who is looking. Initiate the King James Protocol. The code is 24 and 13 and 14. The password is Proverbs. Transmit. My child, eat thou honey because it is good. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. Why don't we go on into Kingsmouth? Travel to Kingsmouth town? Yes. Alright, and we have reached the Viking longboat. Another piece of lore that we will find. You're hired. Become initiated into your faction. Alright, let's send the report back to Ms. Geary. You're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. It's worse. You're in Maine. Not even a tornado can kill the wicked witches in this place. I heard rumors that there might be someone there to meet you, someone who used to work for us. You can listen to him, just don't trust him. Old cowboys have ulterior motives. Get going. Just follow the zombie prick road. I do like her. I do like her. I think she and I are gonna get along well. All right. And there he is.
Oh, don't worry, kid. You haven't gone back in time. I just happen to be the last of the cowboys. Got your southern welcome right here. Mesquite beans, Texas style. Good ought to face evil on a full stomach. Name's Boone. I'm a troubleshooter. You and I need to have a powwow before you go shooting for trouble. Illuminati may have legacy on Solomon Island, but you folks gave that up for the high life and the low road. Sure, you can be divided in purpose, but we gotta stand united against darkness. This ain't my first rodeo. I know we're gonna need all the unity we can get. Don't mean to say you stepped into hell, but when the wind blows west, you can just about smell the brimstone. All we know is death and fog came from the sea, or someone brought it back with him. If I was a gambling man, I'd put money on that someone still being around. Bunch of survivors holed up in Kingsmouth town. Follow that main road and the sound of gunfire, and you'll come to the sheriff's office. Kid, whatever your reasons for being here, you find out what those people died for, and you bring a reckoning.
I do like Jack Boone. Alright, that's where we're going to leave this. Like I said, this is not going to be a Let's Play. It was just going to be a walkthrough through the opening part, the Illuminati introduction. I had never played through that before. I see his lines do change a little. It's a little, just a couple of lines that are different. The one that I caught in particular was the one where he says, you know, talks about the Illuminati and says, you people may have legacy here, but you left that for the high life and the low road. So there you go. So as I said, if you want to see the continuation of the story and all, it's best to go and watch Mind Fiend's Let's Play. I think he's up, deep into Kingsmouth here now. He's traveled all the way. I think he's working over in the scrapyard now, if I remember correctly. So that's where we're going to leave it off. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you coming along with me during my little special travel here through the Illuminati intro. And we will see you next time. Probably in other games and possibly in this one if something exciting comes up that we get to participate in and feel like bringing you along for it. So we'll see you then. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.